Wesley, my man, what have you been up to?
Oh, man. I mean, I was out in Deadwood, been playing a bit, went to a Twins game.
How did Deadwood go for you? Hey, kitty.
So, Deadwood, I did not cash. I fired once each day.
I think I needled you on that a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was totally on accident, though. So it was the Rough Riders Poker Tour main.
Yep.
And so not an MSPT. So on the second day, too, on Saturday, I did actually bag.
Which now in an MSPT is
a
min
cash.
If you make day two, you min cash. And Deadwood used to be an MSPT stop.
Correct.
Which I forgot it is now not an MSPT stop. It is an RPT stop.
Yeah. So just
what's that stand for again? Is that Rough Rider Poker Tour?
This was Rough Rider. Yeah.
Shouldn't that be like RRPT?
Maybe they're not that good at the alphabet.
Acronyms.
Yeah.
We'll just call it the Rough Poker Tour.
That's true. So
I'm just kidding, guys.
I don't know if they listen.
Honestly, from what I've seen through their social medias, they hold some really cool events. People seem to have a lot of fun at those events. Mm-hmm. I would actually like to try one someday. So was that your experience there? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty similar to the MSPT. The structure was almost the same.
Okay.
They started with 30K. They actually started one level earlier, like at 100 big blinds. And then, I mean, it was almost exactly like an MSPT and maybe a slightly better structure.
Really? Okay. How much did they start you with? 30K?
Yep, 30K, 40-minute levels.
Field probably just Charmin soft.
That for me, I always felt like Deadwood specifically, for some reason, just has good fields. And I am a little biased because my first 2 times there, I did final table. But
excuse me.
You're excused. Oh, God. What a disgrace.
I know.
Our first time on video, too.
I know. So currently choking on my drink. But
so just to explain exactly what you meant when you said you kind of needled me.
Oh.
You texted me on Sunday, like, are you coming home today? I said, yeah, I actually bagged, but I just busted. And you said, oh, well, I'm glad to hear you at least made the money. And I was like,
no,
I didn't. So there were 71 players.
Little does he know that was intentional? Shh.
Yeah, he was just coming after me. So, there were 71 that made day 2.
How much was up top in that guy?
100K almost exactly.
Okay.
And then 45 paid. The min cash was over 2x. It's also an 1140 buy-in instead of 1110, so that's another tiny difference.
I wish it was a little bit closer. I would go to that stop, but for a drive, was it 9-hour drive?
Close to that, yeah, 8 something.
I'll go to Firekeepers for 9 hours, but not Deadwood.
Yeah, when you're playing for 350K up top, it's a little more appealing.
Yeah. So I'm speaking of Firekeepers. What is that?
It's not this weekend. It's 2.5 weeks from now.
So yeah, not this weekend, not the following weekend, but the following weekend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I hope so, because I'll be gone 2 weekends from now.
Yeah, so the 2 weekends from now, so if you're going to be gone...
That's the Hollow Scream.
The Hollow Scream at Running Aces.
Yeah.
A lot of the listeners are from around the area. Are we clear? Is that a 500 or a 360?
My understanding, it was a 500 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I believe 30-minute level, $500 buy-in. Probably, I'm guessing it'll probably get north of 40 up top.
Perfect. So we got that coming up in 2 weekends. We got Firekeepers in 3 weekends. Then we have the Fall Poker Classic main event.
That's
in 4 weekends.
Yes, very much looking forward to that as usual. We'll do our predictions probably next week or the following.
Yeah, we'll do some predictions on that. I'll probably win again. Hopefully this year I can win the tournament.
What did I buy you, dinner or something?
You did, yeah. You did. Yeah. I actually remember we went to a dinner and I brought my notepad. Like we did some stuff for the podcast, and to this day I don't know where that notepad is.
You know what really annoys me is I think the last 6 dinners that we've had together have all been on me because of credit card roulette, and I'm currently on a downswing, a credit card roulette downswing.
You did start hot against me though.
I did.
Fair.
I went on a tear against you on all the steakhouses and stuff.
Yeah. If any of the listeners out there aren't familiar with credit card roulette, it's like Max and I go to a dinner or breakfast or whatever, and instead of splitting the bill or whatever, we take our credit cards, put it in a hat, and then have the server pick one out of the hat and
pick who's paying for the dinner, and then the loser does pay for the tip.
Or the person who's not paying for the
Yeah.
meal pays.
We'll say the
itself.
winner is the person not paying.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's one thing when it's 2 people, but when it's like a 4-person meal and you decide to do it, then it's like, okay, you're less likely to pay, but when you do,
a
it's
25% chance to pay for the entire bill, 75% chance to not pay for it. I like those, I like that. I like those numbers.
yeah.
But when it's, a $500 bill, sheesh.
We haven't had that yet.
No, thankfully.
I honestly think the biggest one between you and me, it was just when it was us two, and it was last year in Council Bluffs. Or it was technically Omaha.
Was that steakhouse?
Steakhouse, and I had to pay for it. Was like $250.
I remember that. You bought that. Yeah, we got drinks and everything. I took you out.
Yeah.
That was great.
And then I won a ring that weekend, so it was okay.
Yeah,
But
it offset, so that's cool. Well, you want to tell the people what we are talking about today, Wes?
yeah, poker, I think.
Okay. I think that's typical, right?
Yeah. So today, we're going to talk a lot about pre-flop, specifically when facing an under-the-gun raise. And we're going to look at a few different spots. Most people know that when you're facing an under-the-gun raise, that should be a tighter range. But it's hard to know what exactly that means in terms of how you should respond. So we're going to look a lot at what you do, if under-the-gun raises and then you are next to act.
Okay.
Because that's going to be drastically different than how you respond when you're on the button. For example.
This is actually, I think, a topic that a lot of people will find helpful, especially people who are just too splashy. I mean, this is a spot where I'm going to have a very tight range.
Yeah. Even you.
Even me, and I'm splashy. So, I think this will be beneficial, especially to me too. I mean, we're going to have some help from GTO Wiz on here. And just kind of see what kind of hands we should be flatting, under the gun 1 to an under the gun raise?
Yeah, under the gun 1, we're going to look at button and then...
Specifically just flatting, not 3-betting, right?
We'll just look at the responses. Like, we'll go over what you should flat because, like, there are... I think the way I would
put it... We can maybe
it,
splash in if we're 3-betting specific hands, etc.
Yeah, I think in terms of flatting... The mistake I feel like people make, and the reason why I think I thought of this episode is because when facing an under the gun raise and you're next to act, I feel like a lot of people are far too prone to flatting that open. And it's not just being against that under the gun range, but it's you still have 7 players behind you to act.
Yep.
And it's very difficult. And at some stack depths, you just don't want to do it at all. And so
typically more shallow stack depths.
Correct. Yeah. When you're deeper, you can get away with it more. So we're going to actually look at short stack and then 40 to 50 bigs. But
excuse me. I'm still choking on that damn drink from 5 minutes ago. God, I know. All right, let's get back into this.
Let's do it. So, yeah, first off, I wanted to look at like 12 big blinds.
Okay.
And so this is a stack size where under the gun might just shove some hands too. But
I'd have like almost a 0% flatting range here.
Yeah, so under the gun opens min raise off of 12 bigs, and then let's say you are next to act.
Yep.
And ICM doesn't really matter here. We're saying it doesn't, so we're just doing chip EV. So it doesn't really matter if we have a little more or it's 12 big blinds effective.
Okay, yeah.
So
there's no ICM pressure involved.
Correct.
Okay.
So what is that going to look like for you under the gun +1?
So if under the gun's opening, I have 12 big blinds in the next position, so under the gun 1. There are a few hands that I will be flatting, primarily aces.
Okay.
Just because... I mean, there's so much room for squeezes behind me, as you had kind of previously mentioned. I have X amount of players behind me, so we want to see one of them try. I feel like that's a good way to capitalize, even though we're kind of, I don't know if diluting our equity is the right way to put it, but like by allowing them in, we're reducing our equity, but we're also capitalizing on our value. I feel like, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And actually, so when you're this early in position, GTO Wizard doesn't flat anything.
Yeah.
But I do think in a certain type of field, when people aren't going to notice what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's most of the fields we play. And obviously 1 or 2 players here and there, maybe even more sometimes, will see that, the more experienced players. But I think that again, a lot of these people aren't GTO wizard, right? So they overlook a lot of things. They'll overvalue a lot of things. So all of a sudden we get a 3-bet squeeze from tens down the road, from a later position.
Or
whatever
the
it could be.
weaker.
Yeah, just throwing a
weaker
hand
stuff
out there,
for
right?
sure.
But anyways, that then gives us more opportunity for the under the gun to maybe reshove or try and
Thinking that your flat is weakness.
Yeah, exactly. So now under the gun might squeeze or isolate, and then we can then gladly call off for a triple plus, right? So hands like aces, kings. I think once, and it's pretty rare if that I'm doing that even. That's just a thought.
Yeah.
I mean queens and stuff like that, especially under the gun one. I'm probably going to land on just 3-bet jams, most of that stuff. In terms of the bottom of my 3-bet jamming range here.
Yeah, good. So what are those weakest hands you're gonna shove?
Honestly, it's still very tight.
Okay.
Even on 12 big blinds, just because it's under the gun and there's a lot of people behind me, I would probably. I want to hear what your thought is, and also what GTO Wizard says about this, because we have not talked about this previously, so I'm not sure. But I would probably say like 8s plus, and then maybe like King Jack suited plus.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool because you're right in the range of GTO Wizard.
Okay.
I'm obviously a little biased having a chart up here, but
I can't see.
Yeah,
the chart,
no,
by the
you
way,
can't
guys.
see it.
We got video now, by the way, which you can prove. Okay.
So, yeah, I think one thing to keep in mind for the listeners is like even a hand like Jack 10 suited, Queen 10 suited is supposed to just fold here, and I think if this is a later position situation, you can just jam these in.
Yeah.
And I think,
say it folds to you and cut off with 12 big blinds and you have Jack 10 suited. I'm full sending it, right?
Yeah.
But here, like you'd said, there's so many people behind us, plus an under the gun open, which is already a tight range. You're just going to find yourself getting it all and dominated a lot.
And now I will say, so supposedly we're supposed to just jam aces and kings from this early position too. But if you're able to like profitably flat, like if you have a read on the table and you think
I know someone's squeezing a lot, et cetera.
Yeah, or people are just gonna not pay attention and call with like King Jack offsuit or something.
They'll just call behind, and you get that a lot as well, right?
One thing you can also do is if you're gonna have like those aces and kings hands, maybe you do get to flat Jack 10 suited or something. Or maybe you're just purely exploiting and flatting
That's
the
kind
huge
of
pairs.
And here's the thing: is I don't feel in terms of theory land, I can flat Jack 10 suited to balance that. So but
maybe you don't want to.
I'm not going to, because again, the reason I'm flatting those is because people aren't paying attention. So why would they pay attention if I'm balancing?
Yeah, it almost, the flatting of the weaker hands. You're right. You don't need to balance in this situation.
Yeah.
If you are flatting the big pairs, it is as an exploit in this position.
Exactly.
And so,
yeah,
I like that a lot. And
I understand in concept though. You want to balance that, right? So that was the point of saying like flatting.
You know why I say that too is so the listeners don't see you flat aces in early position off of 12 bigs and just know. Like, so they think you could have Jack 10
So,
suited.
I kind of had a change of heart on this, Wes. I think I would flat Jack 10 in this.
Yeah, offsuit as well.
Offsuit specifically. All right. So, yeah, well, I'm balanced there completely. So, yeah.
Totally. Everywhere. Yeah, I do like that idea a lot, though, because I think in a lot of the low to mid stakes fields, people will not really notice that you're doing something you should never be doing, and you can get a lot more action with your biggest hands that way. If we look at what the charts are going to do in this spot, it's like 8s jam, 7s mixed jamming and folding. So you're kind of
I was right on.
You're right on.
Let's go.
King Jack suited and Queen Jack suited jam. The King 10, Queen 10, Jack 10 suited hands fold, though. So you're
pretty close.
right on there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on like Ace 10 suited, Ace 9 suited, Ace Queen, Ace Jack, Ace 10 off, Ace Wheel suited, stuff like that?
I'm going to fold my Ace Wheel suited. Golly. In terms of suited ace, like the bottom, man, Ace 10 makes me kind of want to puke a little bit. Ace 9 makes me want to puke also. Like if I were in the moment, I would want to jam Ace 9 of hearts here.
Okay.
Would I? Probably. Like, let's send it.
It might end up realistically being one of those things where it's like, is it early in the tournament? It might default to one of those decisions.
There's
so
going to be,
close.
at that point, it's going to be who's the opponent that's opening under the gun? Is he, like, is his range wide under the gun here? Like, from what I've seen him play so far, are we close to the money?
And we're kind of assuming we're not here.
We're not
right?
here, right?
Yeah.
So, in this case, I probably would send, I think ace 8 suited, I'm probably just letting go and ace 9 suited being the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, almost. Technically, it's ace 10 suited. That's the bottom according to the charts. But yeah, I think obviously if you're going down one notch, 1 pip, because you think someone's a little bit looser than average, I think that's what you should be doing. And you're right that the ace wheels, apart from maybe ace 5 suited, should be folds. And I
think we could 3-bet ace 5 suited on 12 bigs and then fold.
Just click it to fold. So I will say,
I'm never doing that. But.
You're never doing that. If it's like a hardcore ICM spot, though, that could be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see things like that on big final tables from where it's filled with pros. Like if you go watch like a GG Millions final table, like a 10K buy-in final table, or even like the Venom that Ian and Koo were on, like you
get the min 3 bets.
You see a lot of like min 3 bets, and some of them as bluffs, probably just for ICM pressure purposes.
Yeah, that's
sick. It's something that's like definitely not like one of my strongest points. And it's like ICM bluffing, min betting.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Right.
And
because you got to know how to fold after you do it too.
Right. You have to realize that even if you're getting 2-1 pre-flop, like it's not about the chips. It's about the final, the actual money you're making.
And we've discussed previously that ace 5 suited is a good 3-bet fold, not a good 3-bet call off.
Yes. Yes. So. When people say it's the new ace king, that's in terms of aggression, not calling off.
Not in terms of running the equity, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're obviously in this situation, we're not talking ICM. I do think I would say if you're in a spot where you think like ace 9 suited is going to be a good jam against someone who's a little bit too loose, I would also say the ace wheel suiteds could make their way in there. It's kind of like of the same. I guess here's what I would say. If you think they're wider, if you think you have fold equity, go with those ace wheel suiteds, because the ace 9 suited has more immediate showdown. But the other ones make just as good of like a bluff type of hand.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got the 12 big blinds kind of discussed there. Are you following kind of where I'm at as well? Is that kind of where you're going to be?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you pretty much, I like the strategy you have. Okay. I think a couple things we can highlight for the listeners is like, notice that you really shouldn't be flatting, and, so even like a good player like Max here, if he's,
say that again. Let me hear that one more time.
An adequate player like Max here. It's not that it could never happen, but if it does, there's probably something going on, and it shouldn't be like the default strategy necessarily.
Okay.
And also, yeah, it's like we're gonna fold a lot. Like even some suited broadways, we just fold here.
Okay.
And I think it's easy to look at hands like that and think it's just illegal to fold Jack 10 suited pre-flop to 1 raise. But
I mean, it's that's where. As a poker professional with bunny ears, something like that, I think it's important to let. You got to learn to let go of the pretty hands just because they're pretty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely been a time in my career where I'm just like, oh, I got Jack 10 suited. I have 12 bigs. Like, my best scenario, let's run it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really not always that way. You really have to take into consideration all these different things like position, and stack depths and player tendencies and all these different things. So should we move on to the next spot?
Yeah, let's move on to just quickly look at the button. Let's say same spot, but it folds to us on the button.
Before we talk about the button, let's just take a quick break here.
Let's do that.
Hey guys, Max Havlish here. Are you ready to go all in on finding your dream home? With the Havlish Home Team, you're holding a royal flush in real estate expertise. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, we'll deal you the best hand with top-notch service and unbeatable market insights. Don't gamble with your future. Play it smart and let the Havlish Home Team turn your real estate dreams into a winning hand. Contact us today and let's stack the deck in your favor. Please email me at maxhavlish@gmail.com. Your referrals are much appreciated. All right, Wes, you get me excited when you talk buttons, so let's do it.
Oh my God. You disgust me. So let's take a look quick at Under the Gun opens off of 12 bigs, and now we're on the button instead of early position. So the biggest difference, I think, is we are going to be not just a little wider, but we're going to be able to flat.
Can you explain to the people why we would be wider?
Yeah, so now we have had everyone fold between Under the Gun and us. And so after us, it's only the blinds remaining. So there's a lot less of a chance that one of our opponents wakes up with a hand.
Yeah. Less people behind us means, we can widen our range a little bit.
For sure. And also importantly, now if we call and go to a flop, we're going to be in position, even though there's going to be like 6.5 blinds in the pot, even if the blinds fold, and there's going to be 10 effective stack of 10. So there's not going to be a lot of wiggle room, but still being in position allows us to realize our equity a little bit better than our opponent would be able to.
Okay.
So, honestly, so yeah, let's say you're in this position. What are your thoughts? Like, forgetting the jams for a second, or maybe you can talk about that too, but what sort of hands might you be just calling with?
So let me clarify. We're on the button with 12 bigs facing an Under the Gun raise.
Yep.
What hands am I calling with?
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely changes. Off the top of my head, again, I'm just losing all the suited connectors.
Mm-hmm.
I think my flatting range, again, is still going to be small. I might be 3-betting slightly wider. Not much more. My strategy is not going to change much, even though we just discussed saying that you can widen it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
On 12 big blinds, I like to maintain fold equity for when I do 3-bet jam. And my concern is that if I'm flatting here, I'm just bleeding. If I'm flatting in hopes to hit a flop and that's purely the only way I'm going to put another chip in, I'm afraid that I'm going to bleed too many chips on 12 big blinds to maintain that fold equity for when I do want to jam it.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. It's the sort of thing where it's like you're putting in 1/6 of your stack just to see the flop. And if you jam, if you can get folds, you pick up 4.5 bigs. Like you pick up over a third of your stack.
The ante, the blinds, and the open. So.
Yeah, and so it does. I am in agreement there where I'm still. And honestly, if we look at the charts, there are some hands that are flatting. I might even do less just for that sort of reason. But yes, the hands that the charts are going to be flatting, it's going to be aces, kind of like you said earlier. It's going to be King Jack suited, Ace 9 suited, Ace 8 suited, and then like mixing some jamming and calling with King Queen off, Queen Jack suited, pocket 9s through 6s. It's still going to be a lot of jamming.
I might add, relating with what it's. Wait, did you say all those were jams or flats?
Flats.
Okay, so I relate with like a hand I might flat here that I wouldn't in early position. One of the few is King Queen, even above the offsuit variety.
Yeah,
I would let that go under the gun one. I'd probably flat it on 12 on the button because and kind of going or discussing further on what I said about, if I'm not catching, am I just going to fold? There's a lot more flops that I don't have to flop a king or a queen that I can still jam. And
you can have
the
straight
equity.
draws.
Yeah, the straight draws with 2 overs, which creates more equity. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and I liked one of the earlier things you said too, saying you're getting rid of the suited connectors.
Yeah.
I think like obviously the broadways are different, but yeah, 9-8 suited, 7-6 suited, those are all just not going to be able to realize their equity or have implied odds.
And
enough.
From what I see online, I'm willing to bet, online and live, I should say, I'm willing to bet a lot of our listeners have this leak.
I would agree, actually. I think so too. It's difficult to know. it's one thing to know the right opening range with a short stack, but facing an open, especially when you have one of those hands, like we talked about Jack 10 suited a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're on the button, it's like the 8-7 suited where you're so used to being like, well, I have to see a flop with this somehow.
It's so pretty.
Yeah. And, another thing to keep in mind is a lot of the hands we're flatting here. Let's say one of the blinds 3-bets and under the gun folds. Like, all of these hands are going to be fine to run our equity with if that happens. You do have to realize that it could still go in pre-flop, and when you're putting in a 6th of your stack, knowing that could happen, you kind of have to be prepared to call it off.
It's, I think that's, something just to be aware of. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. What are you doing then with, vice versa? What are you doing with 12 bigs on the button? Like, what hands are you flatting?
Yeah, aces, maybe some. Yeah,
aces is a tricky one too, because sorry, continue before I go on a rant.
Oh, that's okay. I think like ace 9 suited, maybe even ace 10 suited, even though I think that's supposed to be a jam. Like,
I honestly think I would probably just end up ripping those hands.
Yeah. Yeah, that might. I mean, you can kind of go both
with no
ways.
ICM pressure.
Correct. Yeah, we're talking no ICM pressure. So, King Jack suited, I guess I can see why we'd want to flat it. Just those, in general, those suited broadways, I think my default is just to go all in because they likely have a lot of equity if they're called. And if we can get some folds, that's even better. It's not great to... I think if I have any sort of leak here, it's more that I lean more towards just ripping it in. Like, I don't think I mix with
enough
the pairs. I think I'll just, at 12 bigs, I think I'm just shoving them.
Okay. Yeah, I think I kind of, I mean, 12 bigs is such a small stack depth. You're not in crucial mode, but you're in, we got to be very careful mode.
Yeah, and even... it would be tempting to say, I think I'm better than a lot of the players I'm up against, so I should actually be flatting more, which maybe that's an adjustment I need to make. But the way I look at it is like, if I have pocket 7s, for example, a hand that's supposed to jam sometimes and call sometimes.
On 12 bigs?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
You would just shove it,
I would just slap it in there, yeah. Because I mean,
slap it in.
Slap it in there. Well, it's like, how many, like you said, I guess you were kind of alluding to earlier, is like you have to be willing to call off the rest if there is an overcard. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and not always. I'm not saying you always have to be willing to call off, but you have to be prepared to, like, say you get the jack, maybe even make it harder. The queen 6-4 or something like that. Queen 6-3, and then your opponent, like, are you calling off here?
Yeah,
I feel like I am.
It's so easy to make a mistake after. If you don't flop a set.
That's a great way to put it. It is easy to make a mistake.
Yeah.
So,
and I think...
and I'd rather just get jack queen off to fold pre, even though they shouldn't be opening that under the gun.
Yeah, or like,
most people
ace
are.
10.
Okay.
Yeah, like I would rather run the equity. I guess sometimes when we fold the flop, we run in, we get away from... a 7s versus pocket kings type of situation.
But then it kind of leans into the I'm bleeding chips and I don't have enough chips for fold equity.
Yeah.
Whereas you had mentioned if I just jam the 7, all of a sudden I make more.
It is the sort of the future game implications of just jamming it now.
Yeah.
And I am one to where even if maybe I should play more complex situations because I think I have an edge.
If you're comfortable in those situations, you're going to be making less errors.
Yeah, but also if there's a spot that I think is close, I might lean more towards this is the one where I know I won't make a mistake, and I still think my opponent will make a pre-flop mistake here sometimes.
Yeah. I think this is a great time to just kind of talk about how simplifying things will be for me personally. And I've discussed this in the past, but I think simplifying my decisions has always just led me to better results, even if it may not be correct. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I find myself that I'm not making, post flop errors then. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think especially one theme that I like to think of is if there are, not that I'm in game knowing, oh, these two decisions are theoretically indifferent, because I don't know that, but if I think it's close like that, that's where you can you don't have to randomize, and you just pick which one makes sense for other reasons.
Yeah.
And 3-bet jamming off of 12 bigs with all of these hands makes more sense in terms of, like if you flat and then have to fold a flop, then you have minimal fold equity. And
I just got excited thinking about discussing these same topics, but with like 30 to 40 bigs.
How about, does 50 work for you?
50 works. Just
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
even better.
Well, I'm glad.
Because that changes a lot.
It does.
Whoa, jinx, double jinx. That was a double
jinx on that. Yeah. Should we take a look at 50 bigs?
Let's do it. Absolutely. I think there's a lot more fun discussion to be had on here. I also wanted to say, let's see if I can remember what I was just thinking about. I think it would be super fun to do a full episode, like a breakdown on just playing 12 big blinds.
We could do that.
Just in general, because, I mean, attacking it from every scenario, what we should be opening, what should be 3-bit jamming, from what positions. Obviously, you could go on a 100-hour podcast episode regarding that. But I think the point is, I think people are thinking that's a crucial stack size where they're willing to, I'm saying like jam the 7-8 suited over and under the gun open, whereas it's not, and you're not as in dire needs as you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of discussing that fine line between, like being at 6 big blinds compared to 12 or 8 big blinds compared to 12.
Yeah, I like that too.
All right, off topic. But anyways, back to 50 big blinds facing an early position raise.
All right. I do like that idea though.
Okay.
I think that'd be useful. All right, so under the gun opens and we're 50 big blinds effective and we're under the gun +1.
Yeah. Ooh, let's talk about it.
I'm going to guess you're not going to jam any hands here.
No. There's no jams here.
Correct.
There's no jams, period. I will be mixing in some 3-bet bluffs, though.
Yeah.
You can call them bluffs, right?
Yeah, pre-flop, it's sort of bluff, meaning like you would like to get a fold, but there's isolation factors, there's playability post-flop.
And I could be getting a better hand of flat and then outplay them post. So kind of bluff in that sense as well.
Yeah, it makes it so your range is uncapped too.
I have a hand that is just like glaring in my mind.
Don't say it yet.
Let's see if you can pick it up. That I'm 3-betting under the gun 1. God, I feel like
Jack 10 suited.
You got one of the cards right.
Interesting.
Yeah, not Jack 10 suited.
Huh. King 10 suited?
Ace Jack off.
Ace Jack off. Okay. I was wrong then. It's the different kind of hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Honestly, with this is a great kind of time to go into discussion regarding hands like Jack 10 suited and King. What would you say? King 10 off. What'd you say?
King 10 suited. Yeah, King 10 off. We just fold.
Yeah, fold that. Yep. I'm gonna be doing. This is where I might balance flatting Jack 10 suited with aces pre-flop.
Okay.
Because again, for the exact same reasons I'm flatting my aces on 12 big blinds, I'm going to flat here's the thing is you could also, there's just as much of an argument to 3-bet it because you're against an under the gun tight range, right?
Yeah.
And then there's still a bunch of people behind you that could have strong hands that are willing to 4-bet maybe potentially. It's scary, obviously, because it's under the gun 1 and under the gun. But my point being is that I still have flats with aces here occasionally.
Okay. I don't know if I do really, just because we're deep enough with under the gun that if we 3-bet here, like there's enough chips for us to try and win just from that one player. I don't know if
the strategy is 3-betting pure with
with
aces,
like
kings, maybe. What about queens? Don't look at the chart before answering this.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think I would always 3-bet queens.
Always. Okay.
The charts actually would flat it.
I've
sometimes.
seen you flat queens in this position, but I'm trying to think of what the stack depth was when we were online. Do you remember that? And I had ace king suited.
I had
ace king suited
and folded. Yeah.
And I 3-bet so someone under the gun opened,
and I flatted queens.
And you flatted queens. Do you remember your depth there? Because I'm curious if that is aligning with what
It
you're
was
saying.
probably around.
It's very relative.
Yeah, because you had ace king in the big blind. You 3-bet.
I 3-bet and
I
folded.
back
to a
4-bet.
I had
Yeah.
ace king suited and folded to you pre-flop.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. And yeah, so I guess I do it sometimes. I would say I lean much more towards 3-betting in this spot than I think maybe the charts would. Just not even just with queens, but in general.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, let's ask you the questions then. What is the bottom of your flatting range here?
All right. So, and I'm purposely not looking at the charts here.
Yeah.
I would say I'll probably even fold the smallest pairs. So I'll have like some 5s and 6s.
You're not folding 4s though, right?
Oh, because they flop the most sets.
They flop
I
the most
forgot
sets,
about that.
Mathematically, you know.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So 4s, we don't fold the 4s, but
Well, I think I may have those. I think that's a leak that you just found.
oh, well,
Yeah.
there we go. We can work on that. But
There we go.
yeah, don't fold 4s. They
Never.
flop the most sets.
What about deuces?
I gave up on deuces. Even though I'm
Really?
deuce nuke 'em, I gave up on them.
Okay.
So
Good to
4s are
know.
the new deuces. Pocket 4s are the new deuces. So
I think, honestly, that should be. We should make some merchandise out of that. 4s are the new deuces. And no one else will really know what it
that
means.
Yeah. 4s flop the most sets. I love that.
Yeah.
And then anytime I'm wearing that and there's a 4 on board, I'm just going to play it aggressive as hell.
Yeah. I like that you said ace jack suited as a 3-bet bluff because I
I
think
said ace jack off.
yes, sorry, you did say that in my head. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Because I think ace jack off you can even fold, but you can 3-bet too.
Yeah.
I don't think I would flat that hand.
Yeah, because it plays so crappy
Yeah.
from that position.
Now I do think I would flat some very strong hands like ace king off, ace queen suited. But you were asking about the bottom of my flatting range. So we talked about it in terms of pairs, and then I think in terms of suited cards, I would flat a lot of like the ace wheel suited cards that you maybe want to 3-bet. I might flat some of those. A lot of suited ace in general, and then some suited broadways.
Are these on a high frequency? Are they player dependent?
Good question. So I think the ace ones are going to be a little higher frequency. Although, like I said, with what with what the charts say, I think I lean much more towards 3-betting in general. And so anyways, bottom of range, like it could be 10-9 suited or 9-8 suited, something like that.
Yeah. And that's going to be probably low frequency. Are you just 100% 3-betting 9-10 suited under the gun 1 to an under the gun open?
Well, so I'm talking about flatting. And I think
Oh, that's right. We're
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. Sorry.
that's all right. I think almost everything except for like some of the stronger flatting hands is going to be a low frequency flat for
What
me.
did you say the bottom of your pairs flatting was?
I did say more like 5s, but then you reminded me that I need to flat 4s too.
Well, here's the thing, and kind of going on a tangent here. Sorry for the listeners. It's kind of not a tangent though. At what depth do we find the value of set mining? Because I feel like at 50 bigs, that's just a pile, especially when you're deeper in a tournament. When 50 bigs is harder to have. I mean, deuces. I feel like I might like just go all the way down to deuces when I'm 50 plus deep, just because of the implied value of flopping a set and trying to get the most out of it, right?
Yeah.
I understand that's probably not theoretically correct, but I'm also able to get away. Just, I'm put 2 big blinds, and if I get 3-bet, I'm just snap folding. I'm not still set mining at that point. If I don't flop a set, then I'm getting away at 2 big blinds, whereas I'm not worried about bleeding as much, I guess I should say.
Fair. For me, it does come back to the fact that there still are 7 players behind us that could 3-bet.
Yep.
Now, I'm of two minds here. For one thing, you could be right in some of the fields that we're playing where like people will call too much. And so there will be a lot of callers behind us.
And even more implied value if we hit that set.
If we hit the set. So that's probably not a bad idea. But that also goes to the reason why I tend to 3-bet more because a lot of the hands that we might flat with, we aren't necessarily trying to play large multi-way.
Yeah.
In general, I mean, even hands that play well multi-way, we're not necessarily trying to do that, especially when, especially when we're going to be out of position to most of them. So, plus I just feel like when we 3-bet against under the gun, people are going to feel like that's a very strong, like we get to represent a very strong range. And, I think, I guess I'm explaining why my tendency is going to be leaning a little bit more.
And I don't think that's a
3-betting.
problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think in some cases I'm definitely just folding. So, all right. So,
Yeah. And actually, you know what? If we look at the charts, like the small pairs, you can flat
Mix.
those too. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like kind of a mix.
Okay.
So I might be a little bit too tight in terms of my flatting
Yep.
versus under the gun or as under the gun +1.
Well, we all know how nitty you are. So. Literally. No, I'm just kidding.
So,
Okay.
Sometimes
Good
maybe.
discussion. What's
I think let's quick just what the charts will say is you mix a lot of 3-betting and calling. with,
Yeah, I'm
like-
curious what the chart says is good here.
Yeah.
So just to remind our listeners, we're at 50 big blinds. There's no ICM pressure. Under the gun opens, and we're under the gun 1. So the first position opens, we're the next to act. What are we 3-betting? What are we flatting?
Yeah, and it's basically like ace-8 suited, king-9 suited,
Are
and then
these
all
flats?
suited broadways. They mix flatting and 3-betting.
Interesting.
10-9 suited. A lot of the lower suited connectors are folds. And then
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and pairs up to queens are mixing and honestly are mostly flatting. Like the only hands that 3-bet a ton are aces, kings, and ace-king suited, not even ace-king off. Ace-jack off, like you said, it's like the strongest hand we can fold,
Yeah.
But it also is good to 3-bet.
I think that that's a great point, is that ace jack off, like oftentimes to an under the gun open, my default move is fold ace jack off under the gun 1.
Yeah, and I think to be fair, in any tournament, the deeper you go, there is at least a little ICM pressure.
Yeah,
and so I think that's a totally even if there's not, it's a totally reasonable play to make.
Yeah. And then occasionally, I think when ICM is more in play, I think then I'll be kind of opening my 3-betting up more with hands like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my thought on that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think in general, it's like supposedly we actually don't want to 3-bet that much. But it's the sort of thing where a lot of the hands that can flat, they also make fine 3-bets. Supposedly they want to do it low frequency, but if you think you're in a situation where 3-betting makes the most sense, you can just 3-bet it all too. And it doesn't lose you expected value.
Okay.
So
How does that, regarding under the gun 1, does that kind of the discussion there? Should we move to button?
yeah, let's look at button. So under the gun opens, folds to the button, 50 big blinds.
Yeah. I think at this point, I'm going to start mixing in a lot of those suited connectors that are missing from under the gun.
Mm-hmm.
So my 7-8 suiteds, maybe my 5-6 suiteds, I'll probably let go. Call me a spew or whatever you want, but I think I'll even throw the 4-5 of spades in there while we're at it. But honestly,
I
2-3
think that's
suited,
reasonable.
3-4 suited, I kind of just tend to leave those ones alone.
Yeah, I think the thing about 4-5 suited is it can still make the maximum amount of straights.
Yeah.
You know how Jack 10.
You have both ends of it.
Yeah,
You can make both
like
ends.
4-5, you can
Yeah.
go ace deuce 3-4-5,
Yeah.
but with 3-4 you can't go.
You can only get the upper end of it to make a straight, so 4-5-6.
Yeah, or like
If you have deuce 3 suited, I'm saying.
correct. Like you have the wheel still, but you can't go lower than the ace.
To simplify things, there's more ways to make a straight with 4-5 suited than there is with deuce 3 suited.
Agreed. And so I agree that's kind of that is my cutoff point in terms of suited connectors. And what about suited hands like
Suited one gappers, two gappers.
yeah, Jack 8 suited, 10-7.
I find myself, I'm not sure if this is correct or not. I have not looked it up, but I do find myself, especially on like 40 plus big blinds, that I'm like Jack 7 suited, snap mucking. Jack 8 suited, flatting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't typically bluff these hands either
Okay.
on this stack depth. I'm just trying to find high equity flops or get out of there.
Yeah, and I think it's good to know that, or good to note that when you're on the button, kind of like the last example, we can flat a lot more because we don't have as much incentive to isolate. There aren't players behind us. We're going to have position, so we don't need to make sure that people fold behind us.
We don't need to fight to get it heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and you got to be careful with these hands as well. Like, say you get the Jack 4-5 flop.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm not going to fold to a C bet, but you have to be.
You're saying with like Jack 8 suited.
If I have Jack 8 suited and we get the Jack 4-5 flop, you have to be very careful to an under the gun open here. Don't be trying to play for your entire 40 to 50 big blind stack. You need to. I mean, obviously, you're not going to fold to their C bet. But if they start doubling and tripling, you really need to start digging into who that player is, what their tendency is. Especially if you don't improve on the turn, right? Because they're going to have all the better jacks and then all the overpairs. And then, I mean, not usually, but occasionally they'll have jacks and then 4s or 5s. So,
yeah,
rarely,
that's a good point too. It's like, it's good to recognize post flop even that we're up against an under the gun range. And if they continue betting, do you think they're going to be capable of bluffing a lot here? And if not, like,
then
a
you
weak
should be getting
top
ready to
pair
fold. Yeah,
is not that good.
Because under the gun, they're never going to have a worse jack than you.
100%.
So you need to tread carefully and make sure, even with something, I mean, that balances out with a hand like Jack Queen. It's a little different, but like, I guess you block one of the overpairs, and they could sometimes be opening Jack 10 suited under the gun. So there's a few differences, right?
Yeah, there definitely are. So out of curiosity, what about Queen Jack offsuit here? Because
on the button with 50 bigs.
Yeah,
I'm gonna flat again.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly, like most Broadway cards, like 2 Broadway cards, I'm just gonna find flats here, and just try and either make like a 2 pair or like an open ender, or even just flop a straight, right?
Definitely. I feel like,
but when I catch pairs with those, I tread carefully.
Yeah, just as you said, you don't want to get in your full stack with one pair here.
Because a lot of times you are just dominated pre-flop. However, you can be dominated pre-flop and win and have position and then, take those pots away from players post-flop, especially if you don't catch.
That's a good thing to talk about, where just because you feel like your hand is in bad shape pre-flop, it's like, well, when you're in position and you both miss, now obviously if you have Queen 10 and the flop comes 9-6 deuce, you're not going to float there. But if it comes 9-8 deuce and you flop a gutter
with the gutter to the nutter,
the gutter to the nutter, is that 3 straight episodes?
I don't know, maybe.
I think so. If that happens, you have enough equity to call one street, and when you're in position,
and then if they check back the turn, all of a sudden we're incentivized to bluff because we have Queen high. You know what I'm saying? And we have a gutter to the nutter still. So, and then all of a sudden we're going to be folding out all these ace jacks, whatever, ace tens, ace jacks, ace queens, potentially ace kings.
Yeah, for sure. And so when you're in position, especially on the button specifically, you get to play your hand in a way that can be more profitable. You get to over-realize is the best. You over-realize your equity in the sense that you're going to win the pot more than you should based on just the percentages of each hand against each other.
Yeah.
And so what about an offsuit ace? What are your thoughts on...
Like flatting that you're saying on the button?
Flat 3-bet.
Offsuit aces.
Where would that...
I'm letting everything under ace 10 off go.
Okay.
So ace deuce through ace 9 off, straight to the muck.
Yeah.
Ace 10 off, I probably will be, I know, like I had mentioned earlier, like ace jack off under the gun 1, I might be 3-betting these hands. And that's to kind of, it's like as a bluff, but also to isolate. And there's a bunch of different reasons, right? To try and get the pot heads up is a big one. And this one, it's very likely the pot's going to be heads up anyway, so I don't have as much of it.
Or that at least if the big blind calls, you won't get 3-bet.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And I'm also in position then. So I think ace 10 off and up on 50 bigs. I'll probably float. I mean, not float, flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as for suited aces, I mean, we're going the whole way, baby.
Yeah, you're not really folding any of those.
No, I'm trying to make nut flushes. So, like, you know, what I
Yeah.
mean? So, yeah.
Are you 3-betting any of those or just mostly flatting?
On the button, I think I'm just going to be flatting this deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, ace king probably not.
Yeah,
included there.
right. Ace. So what I would be 3-betting, I might even depend. This is opponent dependent, but ace queen off, I might 3-bet, and I will also flat that.
Yeah.
Ace king off and suited, I'm 3-betting both of
Off and
those.
suited. Yep.
And then like going down to like ace jack suited, almost just pure flatting that as well.
I like that too. I think.
God, imagine getting 4-bet to
Yeah,
another gun open, and you just have to fold ace jack suited.
Yeah, and here's kind of how I think about that. If we had ace jack offsuit and we're under the gun +1, we don't mind. Like if we 3-bet and then get 4-bet, sure we lose chips, but we're like, okay, this wasn't a hand we really wanted to flat anyways, so he just had a strong hand. That's fine. When we're on the button, it sucks even more because then we're like, oh, we could have very profitably just called the pre-flop raise.
Yeah, and then we have position, and you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't like putting myself in dumb situations like that when I don't feel like the value of 3-betting is worth it there.
Yeah. I agree, and I think the theme overall is not only do we get to play more hands on the button, but we have more incentive to flat because there are less players behind us to knock out. And so this will just be a good situation post-flop.
This was a good discussion.
Yeah.
I like this. I love the fact that we get to do this and then people get to listen to it and we all get to, you know, benefit from it. This is, I mean, I benefit from it, you benefit from it, our listeners benefit from it. It's fun. I love it.
It is fun. Should we take we didn't even really look at what the chart said here. Should we just
before we wrap up, let's see what the chart is doing on 50 bigs from the button to an under the gun open.
Yeah. Okay, so what it is kind of pretty much exactly what we said, obviously. Like jack 8 suited, we can flat. 9-7 suited, 8-6 suited, and it goes down to 5-4 suited as far as the connectors. Ace 10 off, we can 3-bet or call, but ace 9 off, fold.
Damn, I'm pretty good. You know, and as someone who doesn't study solvers regularly, it's kind of validating to hear these things. But I think I pick up a lot of this from discussing poker with you or other people who do study it. So it is integrated one way or another.
And I mean, I hate to say it, but you are a smart guy and you pick up.
God.
I know. Just
one more time for
me.
the people in the back.
And when when you keep playing and you're just figuring out kind of organically what is a good play to kind of default to, you know? Yeah. Now, the one thing I can't believe, given the name of this podcast that we didn't talk about, was suited kings. Like, obviously, I think we're like king 9 offsuit. We're folding. The offsuit broadways are calling. But what about king deuce suited, king 6 suited? You know, what about?
Well, I do want to, before we talk about king deuce or king 6 suited, I want to mention the under the gun king 9 suited. You'd mentioned that it can be a flat.
Yes.
I know we can make second nut flushes, we can flop straights, we can make 2 pairs, but that still, for me personally, is a treading. So I think it's a little scary. I think I might let go king 9 suited here, under the gun 1 to an under the gun open.
Okay, and actually the interesting thing, I kind of agree with you, but the interesting thing is that was one of the highest frequency 3-bet hands. So I think
as a 3-bet, I like it.
King 9 suited, I think, is kind of in that. It's a very different hand than ace jack off, but it's. And just to be clear with everyone, we're going back and talking about under the gun 1 here.
Yep.
It's kind of in the same category where even though it's a good hand in general, it is a pretty weak hand to flat that early, and we'd rather try and bluff / play heads up against under the gun.
Yeah, I like that hand as a 3-bet far more than I like it as a flat.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. There's a lot of great flops that I can, turn into bluffs. So
yeah. Yeah. No, I agree though. It's like it's a really awkward hand where you're going to find yourself dominated a lot.
Yeah. And that's kind of my point of not wanting to flat. So what else is I know we talking suited kings. What else we got?
Should we So yeah, like as far as the suited kings, if you're on the button,
Yeah.
what are you doing with like king 5 suited, king 8 suited, king deuce suited?
Honestly,
All in with all of them.
Yeah, all in. I'm just all in. No, I mean, there might be specific situations, again, conviction-esque plays, we'll say, where I just have that intuition, like this is a good spot to go with it here. Most of the time, I'm just folding.
Interesting. Okay, so
I understand they work opposite of that in terms of theory, because suited kings are what are in. Didn't we hear Daniel Negreanu say that?
Well, and that's why I think people have come around on suited kings. I love saying this.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that worked out, but we created suited kings the year suited kings got cool.
We really did. And yeah, so if I think I might overfold I actually think it sounds like we probably both overfold these a bit. Because we should be flatting down to king 5 suited on the button here.
Just hoping to make 2 pairs flushes, et cetera.
Yeah,
Yeah. Again, this is a spot with like jack 8 though, where if you do flop a king and not even like a backdoor flush, you just got to tread carefully. Like,
you got to be careful.
Sometimes I'm folding to turn bets here. So, yeah.
And I guess the last note is we were a bit loose in terms of the offsuit broadways, like the king 10, queen 10, jack 10 offsuit, we should mostly be folding. They're not, it's very close. Now, these are the charts, and I actually think these are close enough where it says we can very rarely call, but that means they're the same expected value. So if we're in a setting where we think like we have an advantage, that actually means we should be calling those or 3-bet, playing them in some way.
Okay.
So I'm going to argue that we were correct.
Oh, correct. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. But on that note, I actually do think that means we're more wrong on the suited kings, because if we feel like we have an edge on the field, we should be getting in with probably all the suited kings, not just down to king 5 suited.
That makes sense.
So
I can get with that. Maybe I'll start mixing that in a little bit more.
Yeah. There you go.
And this is why we discuss this stuff and look at what the solver has to say regarding it as well, as to improve, right? So.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's that. I'm gonna 3-bet the shit out of you.
Yeah, I mean, you already do.
And I'm just gonna windmill.
It's funny. Well, would I ever fold to you when you 3-bet? I don't know.
You have a couple of times.
I have.
Yeah.
I think we play up the idea that we just go after each other sometimes.
Yeah, but
even though it happens from time to time.
But it's not a constant targeted attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. We play. There's no friends at the poker table, but. We play, how I would play against another fish, just like I'd play against you.
Precisely. God, I had one more thought too, but I don't remember what it is.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
A shame.
Well, I have a thought.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this bad boy up and let the people know what they need to do.
Let's do that. So we got 2 things. Let's start with the Discord.
I like that.
Get your ass in the Discord if you haven't yet. Holy shit.
What is going on with you? We have 207 members currently. That should be like 4,000 at this point.
Yeah.
Just kidding, obviously. But get in there. We have a hand discussion channel. We have just a general channel where you can go and talk to people and maybe see what's coming up next, figure out what tournaments you're going to play. We have online, hand history discussions. Did I already say that one? Probably. We just have a bunch of different channels where you can go and learn poker, get better at poker. And all this is completely free. I mean, what else can you ask for, right?
Yeah. You can talk trash.
You can talk trash, but in a friendly way. Yeah,
yeah.
And to us. If we catch you talking trash to anybody else, we might lay the ban hammer on you. You know what? You know what's funny, Wes? I've had to ban 0 people from our chat, from our Discord. Over 207 people, and we've had 0 drama. Please, I'm knocking on wood right now that we maintain that.
Yeah.
But the Discord is a great place, and every single day there's great discussions, there's great players, and it's just a great place to not only improve your game, but to just, consume content related to poker. So definitely get in there. If you want to find that, go to @SuitedKingsPod. That's @SuitedKingsPod on Twitter. My pinned tweet, our pinned tweet. You can go ahead, click the link, get access to it, free forever. Sweet, right? So go do that. Secondly, next Tuesday,
which I believe is October 1st.
Right around then, if not.
Yeah. At 7:30 p.m. Central Time, we will have another online Suited Kings meetup game.
Yeah.
We'll have a ring game on Clubs Poker. We'll have a MTT on Clubs Poker. If you haven't joined Clubs Poker yet, what are you waiting for?
Yeah. Use our link in the description, please. That supports the podcast. So
It does. If you like playing poker, if you like
online.
to dabble online, like,
and we have all the small stakes on there. I think we have 5 cent or like 1 cent ring games or something. Like they have ridiculously micro
yeah,
stakes. If
you
like
can
that.
play for gold coins.
All the way up to, like 2.5 or I think is the biggest I've seen there. Have they do that bigger than 2.5?
They have bigger ones.
Their tournament schedule is continuously growing. Their guarantees are growing. They have mixed games. They have a 9-game mix.
I think that's a good point. They have like 8 or 9 different mixed games. They have limit hold'em.
This is where I've been kind of going and cutting my teeth trying to learn some mixed game stuff, right? Playing deuce to 7 single draw, triple draw, playing stud. They have all these different formats that you don't really have the opportunity to play elsewhere. So make sure to get in there. Make sure to sign up using our Clubs Poker URL, which you can find in the description of this podcast. If for some reason you're struggling in any way with either entering the Discord or signing up for Clubs Poker, you can reach either Wes or I. You can find both of our contact information also in the description of this episode. So check that out. Wes, what else is there?
I don't know. That might be
I
it.
think that's it. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Next week, we'll be back. I think maybe we'll do FPC stuff next week and discuss some other stuff. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll leave it at that for now.
Let's leave it there.
I'm not doing it, Wes.
You're not doing. Me neither.
All right, we'll wrap it up. Have a great day, guys.